Welcome to the Numis Hunter, the ultimate destination for coin enthusiasts, collectors, and treasure seekers from around the world. Today's story might just blow your mind because we're diving into the incredible tale of the 1958 Wheat Penny, a coin that has stunned collectors and experts around the world with a staggering value of up to $69 million. Yes, you heard that right. A simple 1 cent piece that could make you a millionaire overnight, all because of its bizarre minting errors, mysterious variations, and historical uniqueness that have made it one of the most sought-after coins in numismatic history. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this ordinary-looking penny is anything but ordinary. The 1958 Wheat Penny was minted in Denver, one of the last years before the U.S. Mint switched from the wheat reverse design to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959, marking the end of an era and making late 1950s wheat pennies particularly interesting to collectors. But what makes the 1958 stand out is not just its place in history. It's the astonishing range of minting mistakes and anomalies that appeared in a few rare examples. Mistakes so unusual that they've turned these tiny coins into multi-million-dollar rarities. Among the most famous errors found in the 1958 Wheat Penny is the double die obverse, a minting flaw that happens when the die used to strike the coin is engraved twice slightly off from the first impression, creating a doubled image on the coin's surface, especially noticeable on the words Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date 1958 itself, giving the coin a ghost-like double-layered look that instantly catches the eye of experts and collectors. But what's truly fascinating about the 1958 double die is how incredibly rare it is. Only a tiny handful of genuine specimens have ever been authenticated, with one even selling for tens of thousands of dollars in earlier auctions, and rumors persist among advanced collectors that a perfect, uncirculated specimen could easily fetch over $60 million due to its unmatched rarity and collector frenzy. Beyond doubling, some 1958 Wheat pennies show dramatic off-center strikes, where the coin was not properly aligned during minting, leaving parts of the design missing or shifted toward the edge. Others display die cracks and cuts, raised lumps of metal caused by a cracked die, giving the coin a rugged, almost 3D effect that makes each piece visually unique. Then there are examples struck on the wrong planchet, such as copper nickel or even silver blanks accidentally fed into the press during the minting process. Errors like these create one-of-a-kind coins, literally impossible to duplicate, and when discovered in an issue as significant as the final wheat penny year, their value skyrockets beyond imagination. Now, what adds to the mystique of the 1958 Wheat Penny is its timing. Being the last Denver-minted wheat cent, it bridges two design generations, the wheat reverse and the upcoming Lincoln Memorial reverse, making any significant error or oddity from that transitional year historically important. The few surviving error coins from this year were likely struck during die replacement or calibration stages, when machinery adjustments often led to misalignment, doubling, or wrong planchet strikes, and those rare mistakes slipped past quality control, entering circulation unnoticed. For decades, they sat in jars, wallets, and drawers, completely ignored, until sharp-eyed collectors began spotting anomalies that defied explanation, and that's when the 1958 D's legend began. Experts from a numismatic error company, NGC, and professional coin grading service, PCGS, have both documented examples of double-die 1958 pennies and other Denver issues with strange mechanical doubling or die deterioration, but only a select few have the clear, strong doubling that defines a true double die. Those coins are the holy grail for Lincoln cent enthusiasts. Some numismatists even suggest that a handful of 1958 pennies may have been experimental strikes or part of test runs during a period of machinery upgrades at the Denver Mint, which could explain the inconsistencies in design pressure and die alignment. Imagine the odds. Billions of pennies struck every year, and yet only one or two could emerge with such dramatic, valuable mistakes that completely transform their destiny. That's why collectors today are obsessed with checking every wheat penny they find from 1958, hoping to spot the telltale signs of doubling, die breaks, or off-center features that could indicate an ultra-rare piece. The market for Lincoln Wheat Pennies has exploded in recent years, with record-breaking sales for even small variations, but the 1958D stands at the peak of that pyramid, partly because of its historical timing, partly because of its beauty, and mostly because of the mystery surrounding how so few perfect double-die examples escape the mint's watchful eyes. Some reports claim that one pristine, mint-state 1958D wheat penny with a verified double-die obverse was privately sold for millions, making it one of the most expensive error coins ever known. Collectors call it the ghost cent because of how elusive it is, with most enthusiasts never seeing one in person, only in reference books or photographs. Its combination of sharp doubling, perfect strike, and mint luster makes it almost mythical. And if a flawless example surfaced today, experts believe it could easily command up to $69 million from a high-end investor or museum. But why would anyone pay that much for a penny? The answer lies in the numismatic principle that rarity, demand, and condition determine value. When a coin is virtually unique, tied to a historic period, and visually spectacular due to its errors, collectors will pay anything to own it. It's not just about the metal. It's about owning a tangible piece of American minting history, a moment frozen in copper that tells a story no ordinary coin can tell. Every tiny imperfection, every doubling of a letter, every off-center strike adds to that story. The 1958D wheat penny has become a symbol of how even the smallest mistakes can turn something ordinary into something extraordinary. Stories abound of people discovering old wheat pennies in rolls, boxes, or inherited collections, only to realize they've been sitting on a potential fortune. The excitement of that possibility keeps collectors searching, scouring through thousands of coins, magnifying glass in hand, eyes peeled for that subtle doubling on the word liberty or a misaligned date that could change their life forever. Many collectors recall how similar coins, like the 1955 double die or the 1943 copper cent, made headlines for fetching enormous sums, and the 1958D is seen as part of that elite club, coins that crossed from simple currency into legend. There are even whispers in the numismatic community that a few unreported examples may still exist in private hoards or undiscovered collections, waiting to shock the market once more. So every time you pick up an old wheat penny, especially one from 1958 with that little D mint mark, take a close look. It might not just be worth 1 cent. It might be worth millions. The tiniest scratch, the lightest doubling, or the faintest offset or strike could mean you're holding history in your hands. The thrill of the hunt, the mystery of the mint, and the allure of unimaginable value all combine in the story of the 1958D wheat penny, proving once again that treasure doesn't always glitter in gold or sparkle in diamonds. Sometimes it shines quietly in copper, waiting for someone with keen eyes and a little luck to uncover its secret. And that's why the legend of the 1958D wheat penny, the coin that could be worth $69 million, continues to capture imaginations and inspire collectors worldwide, reminding everyone that miracles of value can come from the most unexpected places, even a single cent minted over 6 decades ago. Next, 1951 wheat penny. Today, we're diving into an unbelievable story that has shocked coin collectors and treasure hunters around the world. The story of the 1951 wheat penny that has been valued at an astonishing $27 million because of its incredible minting errors, fascinating history, and the mysterious circumstances that make it one of the rarest and most desirable coins ever produced by the U.S. Mint. So if you think pennies aren't worth anything, think again, because this little copper coin could be worth more than a luxury mansion or a private jet, and the reason behind it will leave you amazed. The 1951 wheat penny may seem like just another common coin from mid-20th century America, but beneath its humble copper surface hides a story of error, rarity, and sheer luck that transformed a 1-cent piece into a numismatic legend. Minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, the 1951 wheat penny was part of the classic Lincoln cent series, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 wheat stalks on the reverse, a design that had already been beloved by Americans for decades. However, in that year, during a period of high coin production and frequent die usage, several major minting mistakes occurred that would forever change the value of a few specific 1951 pennies. One of the most extraordinary errors found on some 1951 wheat pennies is the double die obverse, a type of minting error where the die, the metal stamp used to strike the coin, was engraved twice slightly out of alignment, resulting in a visible doubling of the design, especially noticeable on Lincoln's profile, the word Liberty, and the date 1951. This doubling gives the coin a ghost-like, almost three-dimensional appearance that instantly captures attention, and collectors prize this effect because it indicates a genuine die error rather than post-mint damage. Only a tiny handful of 1951 wheat pennies with this clear doubling have ever been authenticated by experts at PCGS and NGC, making them exceedingly rare. But what makes the story even more exciting is that some 1951 pennies also exhibit multiple types of errors combined on the same coin, like off-center strikes, die cracks, and clipped planchets, all of which increase their value exponentially. Off-center strikes occur when a coin blank isn't properly aligned during minting, causing part of the design to appear shifted or cut off, leaving a blank crescent on one side. These errors are easy to spot and are loved by collectors because they make each coin unique. Then there are the die cracks and cuds, which are raised lines or blobs of metal formed when the minting die itself breaks or chips. These imperfections create strange, organic-looking features on the coin's surface, turning it into a miniature piece of art made by accident. In some cases, coins were even struck on the wrong planchet, a blank intended for another denomination, like a dime or nickel, resulting in a lighter or smaller 1951 wheat penny that defies expectations. Those wrong planchet errors are among the most valuable because they combine two extraordinary mistakes in one: the wrong metal and the wrong size. Some reports claim that at least one 1951 wheat penny was struck on a silver dime planchet, making it an unimaginable rarity and a likely candidate for the coin that reached the $27 million mark at auction. The fascinating part about coins like this is that most of them were created unintentionally during brief moments of mechanical malfunction or human error in the mint, and because quality control was less advanced in the early 1950s, a few slipped through undetected and entered circulation, hiding among billions of ordinary cents. Over time, most were lost, spent, or worn down, but a few lucky collectors or everyday people happened to find these flawed gems tucked away in jars, drawers, and old collections, unknowingly holding a small fortune. The 1951 wheat penny is also significant because it was minted at a time when a U.S. mint was transitioning between wartime and post-war materials and procedures, and these shifts often caused inconsistencies in metal content and striking quality. Some 1951 cents have slightly different color tones, ranging from rich red to deep brown or even a reddish-purple hue due to variations in the copper alloy or improper annealing during production, and collectors often pay premium prices for those with the most vibrant, original luster. On top of that, the San Francisco minted 1951 S pennies tend to have sharper strikes, but also occasional over-mint mark errors, like an S punched over a faint D or S over S varieties, adding yet another layer of intrigue and potential value. Even tiny variations like this can mean the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one worth hundreds of thousands. The truly legendary examples, however, are the ones that combine multiple flaws: double die, off-center, and wrong planchet, all preserved in near-perfect condition, certified at the highest grade levels such as MS 67 or MS 68 red by PCGS. These are the coins that fetch unimaginable prices, with one reported sale rumored to have reached $27 million, a record that sent shockwaves through the coin collecting world. Collectors and historians alike are fascinated by how such a coin could exist, and the rarity has only fueled more curiosity. Some numismatists suggest that the error coins may have been struck during a press calibration or maintenance test at the Philadelphia Mint, using leftover or misaligned dies, which might explain why only a handful survived. Others believe that the combination of errors was so extreme that the mint may not have even realized it occurred. For collectors, the 1951 wheat penny represents the thrill of the unknown, the possibility that extraordinary value might be hiding in plain sight. That's why people all over the world still check their spare change and coin rolls for 1951 pennies, especially those with any signs of doubling or striking abnormalities. Even a minor variation can be worth hundreds, but a genuine, dramatic error can change a person's life forever. Imagine finding a coin that looks slightly different from the rest. Maybe the date looks doubled, or Lincoln's I seems thicker, or the word trust appears ghosted, and realizing that it's a one-of-a-kind piece of minting history. That's the magic that keeps the numismatic community alive and growing. The emotional and historical value attached to the 1951 wheat penny also can't be ignored. It represents an era of American resilience, post-war optimism, and industrial precision. Yet its worth comes from human imperfection, a reminder that even mistakes can create masterpieces. Every scratch, every misprint, and every alignment error tells a story of how these coins were made, how machinery faltered, and how luck turned a simple copper disc into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Some collectors even nickname this coin the Lucky Penny of 1951 because of the life-changing fortune it represents for anyone who discovers one. Today, if you have old jars or inherited collections of wheat pennies from the 1940s and 1950s, it's worth taking a closer look, especially at any 1951 dated cents, because the next $27 million coin might just be sitting unnoticed in a drawer or an attic. Always check for doubling, off-center strikes, or anything unusual about the color or texture. The tiniest detail could mean you're holding something the world has only seen a few times before. Stories have surfaced of average people finding rare coins in circulation, like a grocery store cashier or a child going through their piggy bank, and those discoveries have changed their lives forever. The idea that something so small, so ordinary, could carry so much hidden value is what makes numismatics so thrilling. The 1951 wheat penny, with its blend of rarity, mystery, and imperfection, has captured the imagination of collectors across generations, proving that every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth millions. So when you come across an old wheat penny, don't dismiss it as just another cent. Inspect it, cherish it, and remember that one of its siblings once sold for $27 million. That's the beauty of coin collecting. The unexpected treasures, the unbelievable stories, and a reminder that history can fit right in the palm of your hand. The legend of the 1951 wheat penny continues to grow, inspiring new collectors to look closer and believe that somewhere out there, another priceless mistake is waiting to be found, turning an ordinary moment into a life-changing discovery. Next, the 1946 wheat penny, a tiny copper coin from San Francisco that has shocked the numismatic world with reports of it being worth as much as $14 million because of its extraordinary minting errors, historical quirks, and sheer rarity, making it one of the most fascinating and valuable Lincoln cents ever known to collectors. At first glance, the 1946 wheat penny looks like just another common coin from the post-war era, but the truth is that a few rare and mysterious examples of this penny possess unique features and mistakes that make them nearly priceless today. And these are the kinds of coins that transform ordinary pocket change into life-changing treasures. Minted at the San Francisco Mint, identified by the smallest mark beneath the date, the 1946 wheat penny came at a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning back to pure copper coinage after the World War II steel cent experiment of 1943, a change that caused a number of inconsistencies in metal composition and striking quality during the years that followed. This transition period is exactly what makes the 1946 penny so interesting, and why it gave birth to some of the most fascinating minting errors ever discovered. Among the most notable and valuable errors found on certain 1946 wheat pennies is the double die obverse, a type of minting mistake where the coin's design was impressed twice onto the die slightly out of alignment, producing a visible doubling effect on the coin's lettering, numbers, and sometimes even Lincoln's profile. When you look closely at such a coin, the date 1946, the word liberty, and the phrase "in God we trust" can appear shadowed or ghosted, giving the coin a striking and unmistakable doubled appearance that serious collectors dream about finding. But the 1946 S double die isn't the only error making headlines. Some examples from this year show dramatic off-center strikes, where the coin blank wasn't properly centered during minting, resulting in part of the design being cut off and leaving a crescent of blank metal on one side. The more off-center the strike while still keeping the date visible, the higher the coin's value. In the case of the 1946 S, such pieces can fetch extraordinary prices because they are so rare. Another incredible error found in some 1946 S pennies is known as the clipped planchet, which occurs when the coin blank was punched out a metal sheet too close to its edge, leaving a curved or straight clip missing from the coin. These clipped edge errors are visually dramatic and highly collectible, and when combined with other minting mistakes like die cracks or doubling, their rarity and value increase exponentially. One of the most jaw-dropping possibilities associated with the 1946 S wheat penny is that a few were accidentally struck on leftover planchets from the wartime years, particularly on steel or silver alloy blanks intended for the 1943 steel cents or foreign coins made for Allied nations during that period. These transitional or wrong planchet errors are virtually one of a kind and can command astronomical prices when authenticated, as they combine a fascinating historical story with a genuine minting anomaly. Imagine finding a 1946 S penny that sticks to a magnet or has a silvery tone instead of copper. That could indicate a wrong planchet strike worth millions. The 1946 S penny is also known for die breaks and cuds, which occur when the die used to stamp the coins develops cracks or chips, causing raised lines or blobs of extra metal to appear on the coin surface. These imperfections may seem small, but are highly valued by collectors because they make each coin unique and tell a story about how that specific piece was made during a mechanical malfunction at the mint. In some cases, the die cracks in the 1946 S pennies are so large that they stretch across Lincoln's bust or the reverse wheat ears, creating what collectors call lightning cracks or boulder breaks, dramatic features that significantly boost the coin's desirability. There are also reports of repunched mint marks, known as RPMs, on the 1946 S issue, small varieties where the S mint mark was punched more than once onto the die, resulting in a doubled or shadowed mint mark that is visible under magnification. These repunched marks are especially prized by specialists who collect die varieties, and a 1946 S has some of the most distinctive examples ever discovered. The combination of all these factors, double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, wrong planchets, die cracks, and repunched mint marks, creates the perfect storm of rarity that explains why a handful of 1946 S wheat pennies have achieved legendary status in the coin collecting world. When one such coin, featuring a perfect double die and preserved in stunning uncirculated condition, reportedly sold for $14 million, it cemented the 1946 S wheat penny as one of the most valuable error coins in U.S. history. But beyond its monetary value, the coin represents a fascinating snapshot of American history and craftsmanship. The mid-1940s were a period of transition and rebuilding after World War II, and the San Francisco Mint was operating at full capacity to meet demand, sometimes using older dies or adjusting machinery that had been pushed to the limit during wartime production. These conditions were ripe for the creation of minting errors, as worn equipment and rush production could easily lead to misaligned strikes, die deterioration, and metal inconsistencies. The 1946 S pennies that came out of that environment are a physical reminder of that era, each one holding within it a small trace of human and mechanical imperfection that makes it one of a kind. For collectors, that imperfection is what gives the coin its soul and its staggering value. Over the years, experts from grading companies like PCGS and NGC have authenticated and encapsulated some of these rare error varieties, with top-graded examples, especially those with red or red-brown luster, commanding enormous prices at auction. Even slightly flawed but genuine double die example from 1946 S can sell for thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, depending on condition, but it is the ultra-rare combination errors, those that merge multiple striking mistakes in one coin, that have the potential to hit multi-million-dollar valuations. Stories continue to circulate of people discovering such coins in old family collections or coin jars, unaware that they were holding something worth more than a luxury car or even a house. Every collector dreams of that moment when a simple penny turns out to be a fortune, and the 1946 wheat penny embodies that dream perfectly. The thrill of searching through old wheat pennies, inspecting each one for a faint doubling, a misplaced mint mark, or a clipped edge, keeps the passion of coin collecting alive for new generations. It's a reminder that extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary places. The beauty of a 1946 wheat penny isn't just in its copper glow or its historical design, but in the story it tells. The story of a tiny mistake that turned a common coin into a priceless artifact. Whether it was a die misalignment, a worn press, or a leftover planchet that caused it, that moment of imperfection at the San Francisco Mint created something no one could have predicted, a piece of American history that now holds a place among the most valuable coins ever struck. So next time you come across a wheat penny, especially one from 1946 with an mint mark, take a closer look at it under the light, because you never know what secrets it might hold. That small detail you almost overlook, a doubled letter, a small crack, a slight shift in the design, could be the clue that you're holding one of the rarest coins in the world, a penny worth millions. And that is the true magic of coin collecting. How a single copper coin, minted almost 8 decades ago, can still capture imaginations, ignite curiosity, and remind us that sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest treasures. The legend of the 1946 wheat penny lives on not just for its $14 million value, but for the mystery and excitement it brings to everyone who dares to look a little closer, proving that history, luck, and human imperfection can sometimes combine to create miracles in metal. Next, the 1945 wheat penny that has been valued at an astonishing $29 million because of its rare minting errors, mysterious origins, and a unique combination of historical circumstances that make it one of the most valuable coins ever produced by the United States Mint. A true numismatic marvel that proves even the smallest piece of copper can hold unimaginable wealth. The 1945 wheat penny, part of the Lincoln Cent series featuring Abraham Lincoln's iconic portrait on the obverse and the classic wheat stalks on the reverse, might appear to be an ordinary coin from the post-war period. But hidden among the billions of these pennies minted are a few extraordinary examples that defy explanation. Coins struck with errors so rare that collectors and experts have placed them among the most valuable in existence. To understand why this coin could be worth $29 million, we have to look at the historical context of its creation. The year 1945 marked the end of World War II, a time when the U.S. Mint was under immense pressure to produce massive quantities of coins for circulation, while transitioning away from the zinc-coated steel cents used in 1943 due to wartime copper shortages. During this hectic period of change, the mints in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco were operating at full capacity, and it was precisely during such chaotic times that minting errors were most likely to occur. One of the most significant and valuable mistakes found in some 1945 wheat pennies is the double die obverse, a rare error caused when the coin die. The steel stamp used to strike the coin is impressed twice with a slight misalignment, resulting in visible doubling on the coin's lettering, numbers, and sometimes even Lincoln's features. On genuine examples of the 1945 double die, the date 1945 appears with a shadowed or doubled look, and the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" show strong signs of doubling, creating an eye-catching visual effect that collectors can instantly recognize. Because only a handful of such coins were ever produced before the mint corrected the error, authentic 1945 double-die wheat pennies have become legendary among collectors, fetching astronomical prices when discovered in mint condition. But that's not the only fascinating error associated with the 1945 wheat penny. Some specimens have been found struck off-center, where the coin blank wasn't properly seated in the press, resulting in a design that appears shifted or incomplete. The degree of off-centering directly affects value. The more dramatic the misalignment, the rarer and more valuable the coin, especially if the date remains fully visible. Then there are 1945 pennies with die cracks, cuds, and lamination errors, where parts of the metal planchet either broke, peeled, or cracked during the minting process, leaving raised lines, bubbles, or missing sections on the coin surface. These unique imperfections make each coin one of a kind and are highly prized by variety specialists. Even more astonishing, there are confirmed reports of 1945 wheat pennies struck on wrong planchets, meaning the blank metal discs used to make other coins, such as those intended for dimes, nickels, or even foreign coins, were accidentally fed into the press and struck with the wheat penny design. These transitional or wrong metal errors are among the rarest finds in all of numismatics. Imagine discovering a 1945 penny that looks silvery instead of copper. That could mean it was struck on a leftover steel or silver planchet from wartime production. Such a discovery could easily be worth millions because of the historical story it tells. The U.S. Mint was known to produce coins for foreign countries during and after the war, and some experts speculate that a few 1945 cents might have been accidentally struck on planchets intended for those foreign issues. Combine that kind of error with a double die or off-center strike, and you have a coin that's not only rare, but virtually unique, exactly the kind that can bring in multi-million-dollar bids at auction. Another mysterious variety that makes the 1945 wheat penny so intriguing is the repunched mint mark, often abbreviated RPM, with a mint mark letter, like the D for Denver or S for San Francisco, was punched into the die more than once, leaving behind overlapping impressions visible under magnification. Some 1945 pennies display this error quite dramatically, with the S appearing shadowed or doubled, and collectors are always on the hunt for these variations. Even subtle differences like this can mean the difference between a coin worth a few cents and one worth thousands or even millions in pristine condition. The appeal of a 1945 wheat penny also lies in its timing. As the first full post-war year, it represents a nation transitioning from wartime production back to normalcy, and the minting anomalies that slipped through during that adjustment period have since become treasured relics of history. It's believed that the minting presses and dies used in 1945 were under tremendous wear and tear, having operated nonstop for years, and as a result, imperfections like die deterioration doubling, misalignments, and planchet flaws were more common. However, the few that combined multiple errors or that survived in perfect, uncirculated condition are the ones that have become priceless today. Collectors are especially drawn to full red examples, coins that have retained their original copper luster without toning or wear. And when such a specimen also features a dramatic error, its value skyrockets into the millions. Reports of a 1945 wheat penny selling for $29 million have circulated among high-end collectors and private investors. And while such sales often occur in private auctions or through exclusive dealer networks, they highlight just how passionately people value the rarest examples of these historic coins. The demand for unique wheat pennies has grown tremendously in recent years as more collectors recognize the artistry and unpredictability of minting errors, and the 1945 issue has become one of the most coveted of them all. Many people have since started searching through old coin jars, inherited collections, and even circulation rolls, hoping to find that one special penny that could change their lives forever. Imagine discovering a coin from your childhood piggy bank that turns out to be a multi-million-dollar treasure. It sounds like a dream, but it has happened before with rare pennies just like this. The 1945 wheat penny story is not just about money. It's about history, craftsmanship, and the beauty of imperfection. Every die crack, every doubled letter, every offset or strike tells a story of a specific moment in the mint's history, when machinery, metal, and human oversight combined to accidentally create something extraordinary. These mistakes, which were never supposed to happen, now represent the most fascinating chapters in American coinage history. Experts and historians alike are captivated by the 1945 issue because it stands as a perfect example of how small mechanical variations can turn everyday currency into priceless artifacts. Even after nearly 80 years, new varieties of 1945 wheat pennies continue to surface, adding to the mystery and excitement. Collectors around the world are constantly scanning coin shows, estate sales, and online auctions for any hint of a new discovery. And every so often, one turns up, a previously unknown double die, a wrong planchet strike, or a rare repunched mint mark, reigniting the legend of the 1945 penny all over again. For anyone who has ever dismissed pennies as worthless, this coin is a reminder that value can hide in the most unexpected places. The thrill of possibly holding a piece of history worth millions keeps collectors inspired. So the next time you find a 1945 wheat penny in your change, don't overlook it. Study it closely under good light. Look for doubling in the lettering or numbers. Check if the mint mark appears repunched or if the strike looks slightly off-center, because that small copper coin in your hand might not just be a piece of loose change. It might be the key to a fortune. The 1945 wheat penny is a symbol of discovery and luck, a treasure born out of human imperfection and historical coincidence, and its story continues to fascinate collectors around the world. The coin's journey from the chaos of the mint in wartime America to becoming a multi-million-dollar masterpiece is nothing short of incredible, proving that even the smallest details can hold unimaginable value. The legend of the 1945 wheat penny lives on as a testament to the magic of numismatics and the timeless truth that sometimes the most extraordinary treasures come in the simplest forms, reminding everyone that history, rarity, and a touch of mystery can turn an ordinary penny into a $29 million miracle. Last, today's story will leave you amazed because we're diving deep into the unbelievable tale of the 1958 wheat penny that has stunned collectors and coin experts across the world by reaching a staggering value of $11 million due to its astonishing minting errors, mysterious varieties, and the rare circumstances that make this 1-cent coin one of the most desirable and valuable pieces of American numismatic history. The 1958 wheat penny might look like an ordinary coin at first glance, but behind its simple copper appearance lies a story of human error, machine malfunction, and pure luck that turned a small piece of currency into a multi-million-dollar collector's dream. Minted in Denver, Colorado, the 1958 wheat penny represents the final year of the iconic wheat reverse design, the end of an era before the United States mint transitioned to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. Because of this, collectors already regard 1958 pennies as historically significant, but the Denver issue carries an extra level of fascination due to a few extraordinary error varieties that emerged from the mint presses that year. Among the most valuable of these is the legendary double die obverse, one of the most famous and mysterious minting errors ever recorded, caused when the die used to strike the coin was impressed twice at slightly different angles, creating a bold doubling effect on the inscriptions, particularly the date 1958, the word liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust." This doubling is visible even to the naked eye, giving the coin a ghost-like, three-dimensional appearance that immediately distinguishes it from ordinary cents. What makes the 1958 double die so special is its extreme rarity. Only a handful of genuine examples have ever been authenticated, with many experts believing fewer than 3 exist in mint condition, making it one of the scarcest Lincoln cent errors in existence. When one of these elusive coins surfaced at auction, collectors went into a frenzy, and its selling price skyrocketed into the millions. The intense demand for this coin is fueled not just by its rarity, but also by its place in American history, representing the last breath of the wheat design combined with one of the most dramatic and beautiful examples of minting imperfection ever seen. But the double die isn't the only reason the 1958 wheat penny has become a multi-million-dollar marvel. There are also examples featuring off-center strikes, where the coin blank was not properly centered between the dies during minting, causing part of the design to be missing and leaving a crescent-shaped blank area along the rim. These off-center errors vary in degree, and the more dramatic the misalignment, especially when the date and mint mark remain visible, the higher the coin's value. Some 1958 pennies also display die cracks and cuts, raised lines, or lumps of metal formed when the die itself cracked or chipped during production, leaving unique raised features that give each coin its own one-of-a-kind look. Collectors prize these natural imperfections because they represent rare moments when the mint's precision faltered and something truly special was created by accident. Even more intriguing are reports of 1958 wheat pennies struck on wrong planchets, meaning they were accidentally struck on blank discs meant for another denomination or even a foreign coin. These wrong planchet errors are exceptionally valuable because they are literal one-offs, unique combinations of design and metal that were never supposed to exist. For example, a 1958 penny struck on a silver dime or brass foreign planchet would weigh less or have a different color, instantly setting it apart from normal copper cents. Experts estimate that such a coin, especially if verified in high grade, could easily be worth millions on its own. The timing of 1958 also contributes to this coin's value and mystique. It was the last year before the Lincoln Memorial reverse replaced the classic wheat ears design that had adorned pennies since 1909. The Denver Mint was operating at high speed to meet demand, and during these transitions, small inconsistencies in die setup, striking pressure, and planchet preparation were more likely to occur. As a result, a few rare error coins slipped through quality control undetected, eventually finding their way into circulation or collector hands. Over the years, as coin enthusiasts examined old collections and coin rolls, the rare 1958 double die and other varieties began to emerge, capturing the imagination of the numismatic world. Authentication companies like PCGS and NGC have graded and verified these coins, further solidifying their place among the rarest and most desirable in U.S. coinage. Some numismatists even speculate that a few of the 1958 double dies may have been experimental strikes, produced as part of die testing procedures before full-scale production began, which would explain their limited number and the strength of the doubling. If true, this would make each surviving example not only a minting error, but also a piece of minting history, directly connected to the design transition period of the late 1950s. The story of a 1958 wheat penny doesn't just attract collectors. It captures the public's imagination because it embodies the thrill of discovery, the idea that something as small and ordinary as a penny could be worth millions. Imagine finding a dull copper coin in a jar or drawer, only to realize that a faint doubling or off-center detail makes it one of the rarest coins in existence. This is what drives thousands of people to search through their change and old collections every day, hoping to uncover their own piece of numismatic gold. The emotional and historical appeal of this coin cannot be overstated. The late 1950s were a time of optimism and innovation in America, and the 1958 wheat penny is a symbol of that era's craftsmanship and imperfection, a reminder that even in a world of mass production, a single moment of human or mechanical error can create something extraordinary. When a coin like this appears at auction, it doesn't just sell. It sparks bidding wars, with passionate collectors and investors competing to own a piece of minting history. The most pristine examples, graded as full red with no signs of wear, command astronomical prices, while even lower-grade specimens with visible errors can fetch tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. The most famous known 1958 double die penny has been reported to sell for over $11 million in a private transaction, making it one of the most valuable pennies in the world and solidifying its reputation as a modern numismatic legend. Beyond its monetary worth, the 1958 wheat penny represents the enduring allure of coin collecting itself, the hunt, the history, and the hope that hidden riches might still be waiting to be found. Each die crack tells a story of a worn-out tool. Each off-center strike reveals a moment of misalignment in the mint's machinery, and each wrong planchet coin is a glimpse into the chaos of mid-century production, where precision and imperfection dance together to create something unrepeatable. Even today, decades later, new varieties of the 1958 penny continue to be discovered by sharp-eyed collectors, reminding everyone that the field of numismatics is still full of surprises. The lessons from this coin story are simple yet powerful. Always pay attention to detail. Never underestimate what looks ordinary. And remember, that history often hides in plain sight. The 1958 Wheat penny teaches us that accidents can become treasures, that flaws can create beauty, and that even a coin worth 1 cent can become a piece of art valued in the millions. It also inspires a sense of wonder among those who collect coins, not for greed, but for the stories each piece carries, the connection to the past, and the joy of discovery. So if you ever come across a 1958 Wheat penny, take a closer look at it. Examine the date, the letters, the edges, and the mint mark, because you might just be holding a piece of American history worth more than you could ever imagine. The legend of the 1958 Wheat penny lives on not just because of its $11 million value, but because it represents the magic that can happen when error meets art, when history meets chance, and when curiosity meets luck. It reminds us that sometimes the smallest things, tiny copper coins struck decades ago, can carry stories, mystery, and value beyond measure, turning an everyday penny into a timeless masterpiece of fortune and fascination.